what advice do you give to people who are in the whole coronavirus stress, anxiety moment right now, where they feel like the world is ending, there's no end in sight, I have to protect myself forever? And
yeah, well then, be careful, because you're susceptible to it in that state. And listen, I mean, what a great, this is, I'm doing this event next week called Intermission or Intermission. Like, why not just take a pause, break from the normal routine? Everybody's secretly dreamed about staying home from work. Look, they got it. They got exactly
you should be
what
happy.
They should be happy. Now, listen, okay, make a choice, okay? Who do you want to be when those doors open up again? Retreat from your normal life, your normal routine. Take time and ask yourself, what is a greater expression of myself? Who can I forgive? How can I change? How can I love more? What is it that's stopping me from believing in my future? What do I need to learn about myself? Well, instead of mindlessly getting lost in all those distractions of social, awareness, why not get lost in yourself and literally get, not only mentally rehearse it, but physically demonstrate it, become it. I mean, walk it, become it in your walk as it. See what happens for however long this goes. What's the worst thing that could happen to you? You get happy. I mean, so what? But those people who have fear, fear suppresses the immune system.
And so the more we watch and consume from a fearful point of view, I'm all for getting the right updates so we know what we should be doing.
Me too.
Not for it. Like, okay, get updated. You've got the information, which is powerful once you have more knowledge, but not consuming based on fear, worry, and stress. Because what happens when we're always consuming based on fear information? What does it do to our body? It hurts your system, right?
Well, listen, you only accept, believe, and surrender to information equal to your emotional state. A person who's not feeling fear is less programmable. But that information in fear programs the autonomic nervous system to an output. And the output is very specific gene expression. It's very specific things that happen to the immune system. So the more you change that, and the more you have the ability to alter that, the less likely you would be susceptible to it. Because the more you believe you're the creator of your reality, you would say, I would never create that for myself.
Wow.
And now listen, the game changes here. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody should just run out and start breaking social distancing and handshakes and all that. Listen, do all the right things, matter to matter, Yeah, of course. And that's why when the thymus shrinks, as we age, elderly people have it's mostly fat tissue. There's very little immune function here. So they're going to be more susceptible. But if you understand that you can activate this center and it can make all kinds of wonderful things, it's better than any flu shot. I mean, why not take a chance? I mean, why not try it out do it for a month? I mean, every day, and get the information, study. I mean, I look at the news and see what's truth. I look for the right articles. I'm also not going to do what's natural. I'm more interested in supernatural. And if I've seen it in evidence in 4 days, God, imagine if you did it for a month. I mean, wow. I mean, they have done studies in the 1918s where they injected people with bacteria and viruses from their mucous membranes throughout their body, and most of them never got anything. I mean, like, how do you know? Who knows?
Yeah. What's the 60-second version of what you do on a daily basis internally to visualize your greater future self, of what you want for your future to be, experience? Is there a process that you have? A brief process in 60 seconds or less?
60 seconds or less. I can make it less than 60 seconds.
Okay.
So, I mean, I ask myself, what is the greatest expression of myself that I want to present to the world today? Who do I want to be when I open my eyes? Let me become conscious of who I don't want to be. And let me become conscious of who I do want to be. And I want to become so conscious of who I no longer want to be that I wouldn't go unconscious to him the whole entire day. And if I fall from grace, I am going to give myself permission to get back up and continue. I'll love myself for that. And then I get clear on who I do want to be and how I want to think and how I want to act and how I want to feel. And I rehearse it until I get to that point where I feel like I am that person. And then I just say, memorize this feeling. And then I do my best the entire day to maintain that inner state independent of the conditions in my outer world. And if I do it well, then we start seeing those synchronicities, the serendipities, the coincidences that that cause us to believe more that we are the creator of our lives instead of the victim of our lives.
I love this. What did you say to yourself about who you do want to be this morning? What was that like for you?
Oh no, for me today, it was all about I wanted to be the expression of knowledge, the expression of information. I wanted to really feel like I'm more equipped every day in believing what we do and hopefully make a difference in the world in some way. And if I do that in a day, then yeah, I love that feeling.
I love this, man. I've got a couple questions left for you. I love when you said all healing happens in the heart, and it doesn't seem like people teach us how to heal the heart from an early age. I don't remember media or teachers. I guess
parents, not even parents.
I mean, I grew up it's funny because I think I've told you this a few times now, since you've been on a few times. I grew up in a religion called Christian Science, where every Wednesday night we had it was called testimony meetings, where we went to church on Wednesday nights to hear healing testimonials of other people in our community like us, that we could see like, oh, I'm like Susie, or I'm like Jeff, or I'm like whatever. They were going through this challenge, whether it be a mental challenge, a physical ailment. And we would watch these testimony meetings. I mean, I would watch them and I would see, oh, wow, if this person can overcome this, so can I. And I started to have a different story. So this religion taught me a lot of things that you talk about. I feel like I had the privilege of going through and experiencing.
Right.
It wasn't perfect. And I had some of my own challenges, but I got to fortunately have this type of learning at an early age about testimony and about healing and about knowing the truth and about elevating your consciousness and your mindset through spiritual awareness. But in general, I don't feel like most people had that opportunity to learn these things. How do we get to a place of learning them, how to heal the heart, when it's not relevant? I mean, it's not information that's out in the world.
Yeah. Well, listen, I have taken a lot of hits over the last 20 years. And now I really don't even care.
You were the crazy guy talking about, water changing itself.
Whatever. I mean, I was saying that our thoughts do have an effect on our bodies and our lives. And I mean, I want to demystify that process. But now, I mean, it's such an amazing time. It's in an age of information, ignorance really is a choice. I mean, there's so much out there for you to understand what it does do for you in the right way. Now, discernment is another issue, because you got to learn. But again, if you can get people to retreat from their lives and to remove the constant stimulation in their outer environment that reminds them of who they think they are as a personality, separate from the people and the objects and places and all that information that's reaffirming your identity long enough to learn new information wired in your brain, and then give people numerous opportunities to overcome themselves, numerous opportunities to connect. Put them in a community where everybody's opening their heart. Put them in the community where everybody's striving to overcome themselves. Start having to be defined by a vision of the future instead of the memories of the past. Let's see what happens and keep giving them more information and keep evolving the experience. Once they start breaking through, energy naturally moves back into the heart, and when it gets to the heart, it goes right to the brain. And now I've seen this. We just saw the most beautiful scans in our last week-long event. We had a team of scientists come and study us, and when that heart starts getting more orderly and more loving, it's like taking a big sheet and just there's a flood of energy right up into the brain, and you see the brain take this wave, and it goes right into alpha, and the brain's getting a creative energy. It's information. It's being driven on that, and the heart is doing that in so many ways, and the field around the body is expanding, and now there's energy to heal. I mean, so a person, if it takes them a week to get there, who cares? If it takes them a month to get there, who cares? Because I just saw a guy in Munich when I was on our last event, and I was walking through the park when everybody was doing the walking meditation. He ran up to me, he grabbed me by the arm, and he said, "Listen, in that last meditation, I came up to my edge, and the next thing you know, I had the memory of me being a child and being abused. And I remember the feeling that I had, and I saw that beautiful guy, and I just saw him from a place of love. And I don't know, I had a heart condition. I haven't checked yet because I'm still at the event, but I'm telling you, I feel so much better. I feel so whole. I feel like I can breathe again. I feel like that kid again, like that young kid, pure, clean. So the healing took place in his heart, and he had to just have a moment where he was surrendered so much that new information could come in that was relevant to him. And that information's in the field. It's not just in his brain. And that the act of learning the formula on how to suppress the thinking brain and get beyond the analytical mind, to reprogram, write a new story, record a new track, and teaching people how to rehearse something new. When they keep doing it over and over again, the side effect of it is that the body naturally moves into wholeness.
That's it.
And the person feels another piece is added to their heart, and something else that was broken, fractured, missing is more integrated. And they feel energy there. And of course, when energy makes it here now, you're more selfless. You want to give. You're okay with you. You don't care what people think of you. You don't care what your enemies did to you. You don't want to lose this feeling. Yeah. This is who you really are. And you start figuring it out. Now, this is the beginning of unconditional love, because oxytocin, our oxytocin levels in our students can go up 200%. And that's in a very short amount of time. So a short amount of oxytocin raised in the bloodstream causes a person to get to the point where they can't hold a grudge. You can't hold a grudge. Imagine, you feel so good. Why would you want to hold the grudge? You would want to free that person, and you're like, hey, I'm great. You're not trying to be forgiving. It's the side effect of what happens to you biologically as a result of a person changing.
Oh, Dr. Joe, thank you for constantly giving me so much wisdom, and to our listeners and our viewers who love your information. I know you have a number of books that people should be diving into. What is the one someone should dive into first? If they can have some of this meditation practice, some of this visualization, where should they download, on Audible or online, to get this?
I would start with Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, How to Lose Your Mind and Create a New One. I think that's a good foundation for people. Then You Are the Placebo, another book that's a more evolution of how to heal by thought alone, and the power of how we believe and perceive, and then Becoming Supernatural, I think, would probably a good one. But some people like Becoming Supernatural because they want all everything at once. And if you want that, you can start there. You
read them all on the audios as well? That's all.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then there's tons of stuff on our website for all kinds of things that we do.
Yeah, and your main site is drjoedispenza.com?
Yeah.
And you have events, typically right now they're on pause, but you typically have events a number of times throughout the year, correct?
Yeah, we do those week-long events on the average of once a month.
Wow. You're a machine, man. You're a machine of love.
It's too good. Surf's up, man.
I love it, man. I love this. So definitely, I've had so many people who've listened and watched over the last few years who've seen our interviews that have said they've gone to your workshops and they swear by how powerful they are. So make sure you guys pre-sign up for one in the future right now, because I'm assuming some are on pause currently, but the ones that are in the future, get on the wait list, get a ticket, whatever you got to do, get the books, subscribe to you on Instagram, all the places online. Where else can we go to support you and get involved in this type of information?
Gosh, that sounded pretty good. We have like teleclasses, we do all kinds of things, but it's all on the website.
It's on the website. You can sign up for free courses, other stuff like that as well. Yeah. So amazing. What's the final thought you would share with us? And for people that, if this is your first time being exposed to Dr. Joe, we've got 2 other interviews you can go watch or listen to. I've asked him his 3 truths and his definition of greatness over there, but I'm curious, and with the times that are happening right now, in this moment, where the world has never experienced this, at least in 100 years probably, what is your final thoughts on today?
Wow. We are all faced with great opportunities brilliantly disguised as impossible situations. And there's always a door. That's how we evolve. And we have to see adversity and challenge from a greater level of consciousness, not the same consciousness that's created it. Otherwise, we fall victim to our environment, to rise to a different level of awareness and to believe in possibility. And when we do, of course, it awakens an innate capacity in us to be greater.
Dr. Joe, you're the man. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your wisdom. I appreciate it as always. Thank you.
You're welcome, Louis. Pleasure.